Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to tell you something that will change your life forever. This world is full of storms. It will shake you, test you, and try to break you. But I'm here to tell you, if you build the right habits, no one can break you. If you have these 10 unshakable habits, no force, no person, no storm, and no struggle will be able to tear you down. These habits are the foundation of greatness, the pillars of strength, the marks of an unbreakable life. So I want you to lean in, open your heart, and let these words take root inside you today. Unshakable faith. The first habit is faith that stands the test of time. If you put your trust in something bigger than yourself, if you anchor yourself in God, in purpose, in truth, then no storm will drown you. The world may shake, but you will remain standing. Discipline that never wavers. Discipline is doing what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like doing it. Champions are not made in moments of convenience. They are made in moments of commitment. Wake up early, train your mind, and let discipline be your strongest weapon. Resilience in the face of adversity. Life will test you. People will betray you. Circumstances will push you to your knees. But hear me today. It's not about how hard you fall. It's about how fast you get back up. The habit of speaking life. The words you speak create the world you live in. Stop speaking defeat over yourself. Stop speaking fear. Instead, speak life. Speak power, speak victory. Say it with me. I am strong, I am unbreakable, I am made for more. A heart that forgives unforgiveness is a prison. Some of you are holding on to bitterness, and it is weighing you down. Listen to me. Forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. When you forgive, you free yourself. Unstoppable work ethic success is not given, it is earned. There is no shortcut, no easy way. The greats are not born, they are built. If you develop a work ethic so strong that no one can outwork you, no one can take what's yours. A mind that never stops growing. The day you stop learning is the day you start dying. Read, study, grow. The most powerful weapon in the world is not a sword, not a gun, but a mind filled with wisdom and knowledge. Loyalty to the right people who you walk with will determine where you end up. Some of you need to cut off the wrong people in your life. If they are not pushing you to grow, they are pulling you down. Surround yourself with those who build you up. A spirit of gratitude. When you are grateful, you are powerful. Every morning, instead of complaining about what's missing, start thanking God for what you have. A grateful heart is a strong heart. The habit of taking action. Dreams don't work unless you do. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It will never come. Step out in faith. Move forward. Take risks and watch how your life transforms. My friends, if you build these 10 habits, I promise you, no one can break you. No critic, no enemy, no failure can take you down. You were created for greatness, and the time to rise is now. Faith is the foundation that holds everything together. It is the unseen force that keeps you standing when the storms of life come crashing down. You see, life is unpredictable. One day, everything is going well, and the next, the ground beneath you is shaking. People will fail you. Plans will crumble. The things you thought were solid will slip through your fingers. But when you have unshakable faith, when you believe in something bigger than yourself, nothing, absolutely nothing can break you. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who built his house on the sand. It was a beautiful house, standing tall with expensive decorations, shining glass windows, and an elegant front door. People admired it, praised it, and envied it. But then the storm came. The rain poured, the winds howled, and the waves rose higher and higher. And just like that, the house collapsed. Everything he had worked for was gone. But down the street, there was another house. It wasn't as fancy. It wasn't admired by many. But this house was built on rock. The same storm came, the same winds roared. But when the skies cleared, this house still stood. That is the difference between living a life of faith and living a life of uncertainty. If your foundation is weak, if you rely only on your own strength, your own wisdom, or what the world tells you, you will crumble when the storms come. But if you put your trust in something bigger than yourself, if you build your life on faith, no storm, no trial, no hardship will be able to break you. Faith is what kept Nelson Mandela standing through 27 years of imprisonment. Faith is what allowed Mother Teresa to serve the poorest of the poor without giving up. Faith is what made Martin Luther King Jr. march forward even when hate surrounded him. These people didn't rely on their own strength alone. They believed in a power beyond themselves, a purpose greater than their pain. And because of that, they could not be broken. Some of you are facing storms right now. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe someone you trusted turned their back on you. Maybe you're standing at the edge of a dream that seems impossible, and right now you feel like you're about to sink. Let me ask you, what is your foundation? What are you standing on? If you're standing on money, what happens when the money runs out? If you're standing on people's approval, what happens when they turn against you? If you're standing on your own ability, what happens when you reach your limit? Faith is not just believing in something when everything is going well. Faith is believing even when everything seems to be falling apart. It is looking at the impossible and saying, I will not fear. It is standing in the fire and declaring, I will not be burned. It is walking through the valley of the shadow of death and knowing I am not alone. I remember hearing a story about a little girl on an airplane. As the plane flew through the sky, turbulence hit, shaking the aircraft violently. People started screaming, crying, gripping their seats in fear. But this little girl sat quietly in her seat, calmly coloring in her book. A man sitting next to her finally asked, aren't you afraid? The plane is shaking so much. She smiled and said, no, my dad is the pilot and he knows where we're going. That, my friends, is faith. Faith is knowing that no matter how strong the storm, no matter how uncertain the road ahead, there is a pilot in control. Faith is knowing that even when you can't see the destination, the journey is leading somewhere greater. Let me bring this to your own life. Think about the darkest moments you've been through. Maybe it was heartbreak, failure, rejection, or loss. But somehow you are still here. Somehow you made it through. You might have thought it was the end, but something carried you forward. That was faith working in your life, whether you realized it or not. You see, faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting even when you don't. It's about believing that every setback is a setup for something greater. It's about knowing that even when the doors close, there is a reason, a lesson, and a purpose behind it. Think of a seed buried in the dirt. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. But deep in the soil, roots are growing, strength is building, and soon a tree will rise. Some of you feel like you are buried right now. But you are not buried, you are planted. And if you hold on, if you trust, if you keep your faith unshakable, you will rise stronger than ever before. So I ask you today, where is your faith? Are you building your life on things that can break? Or are you building your life on something that can never be shaken? Faith is the difference between fear and courage. Faith is the bridge between the struggle and the victory. Faith is what will keep you standing when everything else falls. No matter where you are today, no matter what you're facing, I challenge you. Stand firm, trust, believe, because if your faith is unshakable, then you, my friend, are unbreakable. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the foundation of every great achievement, the silent force that separates success from failure, and the fuel that keeps the fire of ambition burning. Without discipline, dreams remain dreams, potential is wasted, and greatness slips through our fingers. Look around you. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the most privileged. What sets them apart is discipline, the unwavering commitment to doing what needs to be done, even when they don't feel like doing it. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young man who wanted to be a great athlete. He had talent, he had passion, but he lacked discipline. He trained hard on the days he felt motivated, but on the days he was tired or distracted, he skipped practice. His friends would invite him out, and he would say, "Just this once." He would stay up late, eat whatever he wanted, and tell himself, "I'll get serious tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. One day he faced an opponent who had the same talent but twice the discipline. That opponent had woken up early, trained when no one was watching, sacrificed temporary pleasures for long-term success, and stayed consistent even when it was hard. When the competition began, the disciplined athlete dominated. The young man lost not because he wasn't capable, but because he wasn't committed. This is the reality of life. The battle is often won before it even begins. In the quiet hours of preparation, in the unseen moments of effort, in the small decisions we make every single day. Discipline is waking up when the alarm clock rings, not hitting snooze 5 times. Discipline is going to the gym even when you're tired. Discipline is working on your goals when distractions are calling your name. Discipline is choosing long-term success over short-term pleasure. Most people fail not because they aren't capable, but because they only work when they feel like it. And let me tell you something. If you only show up when you're motivated, you will fail. Because motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. Some days you wake up inspired. Some days you wake up exhausted. If you rely on motivation, you will be inconsistent, but if you rely on discipline, you will be unstoppable. Think about a soldier. A soldier doesn't wake up and say, "Do I feel like training today?" No. A soldier follows orders, prepares for battle, and stays ready at all times. You must treat your goals the same way. Think about a farmer. A farmer doesn't say, "I don't feel like planting seeds today." If he does, there will be no harvest. He plants, he waters, he waits, he works, because he knows the reward comes later. You must treat your success the same way. Let me ask you something. What is your dream? What do you want in life? To be successful in your career, to build a strong body, to master a skill, whatever it is. Discipline is the price you must pay. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest basketball player by practicing when he felt like it. He stayed on the court long after everyone else had gone home. He shot thousands of free throws until they became second nature. He played through pain, through exhaustion, through every excuse that would stop an average person. J.K. Rowling didn't become one of the greatest authors of all time by writing only when she felt inspired. She wrote in coffee shops, in small apartments, in difficult circumstances. She kept going even when publishers rejected her book over and over again. Elon Musk didn't build Tesla and SpaceX by working when he was comfortable. He worked insane hours, took risks, and pushed forward when everyone else told him he would fail. These people did not wait for the perfect conditions. They did what needed to be done, no matter what. Now let's bring this closer to home. How many times have you set a goal and then quit because it got hard? How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," only for tomorrow to turn into next week, next month, next year? Enough is enough. No more waiting. No more excuses. No more letting distractions steal your destiny. Discipline is waking up and doing what you said you would do even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is making progress every single day, even if it's small. Discipline is showing up, putting in the work, and trusting the process. If you want to change your life, start by changing your habits. Wake up earlier. Plan your day. Cut out distractions. Stop wasting time on things that don't move you forward. Make a commitment and don't break it. And here's the truth. Discipline is not something you're born with. It is something you train. Just like a muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. At first, it will be hard. Waking up early will feel like torture. Saying no to temptations will feel like sacrifice. But over time, it becomes who you are. It becomes automatic. And when you reach that point, no one can stop you. The world belongs to the disciplined, the ones who show up, who push through, who do what needs to be done no matter what. So today, make a decision. Will you be average, waiting for the perfect moment, quitting when things get tough? Or will you be disciplined, showing up, pushing forward, and becoming unbreakable? The choice is yours. Life is a battlefield. No one goes through it without facing struggles, disappointments, and failures. At some point, you will fall. You will face rejection. You will have doors slammed in your face. People will doubt you. You will have moments where you feel like giving up. But hear me today. What defines you is not how many times you fall. It's how many times you get back up. Resilience is what separates those who succeed from those who surrender. It's the ability to stand up, wipe the dust off, and say, I will not quit. Think about a child learning to walk. Have you ever seen a baby take their first steps? They wobble, they stumble, they fall again and again. But do they stay down? No! They get back up. They try again and again and again until one day they are running. That's resilience, but somewhere along the way we grow up. And when life knocks us down, we start making excuses. We start saying, maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe I should quit. Maybe this is too hard. But listen, if a baby had that mindset, they would never learn to walk. So why do we as grown adults give up so easily? Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who wanted to succeed more than anything. He tried his first business and failed. He ran for office and lost. He applied for jobs and was rejected. He struggled with depression. People called him a failure. They told him to quit. But he didn't stop. He kept going. He got back up every single time life knocked him down. And do you know what happened? That man became Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest presidents in history. Now, I want you to think about yourself. What is the thing that has knocked you down? What struggle has made you doubt yourself? Maybe you failed an exam. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe you poured your heart into something and it didn't work out. I want you to hear this loud and clear. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success. Every great person you admire has failed multiple times. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, was cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine that. He could have said, maybe I'm not good enough. But instead, he used it as fuel to work harder, to train longer, to push himself beyond his limits. And because of that, he became a legend. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishers. She was a single mother, broke, struggling to survive, but she didn't let failure stop her. She kept trying, and today her books have sold over 500 million copies. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, failed 10,000 times before he succeeded. Can you imagine failing 10,000 times? Most people give up after failing once or twice, but Edison said, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That is the mindset of resilience. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but my situation is different. My struggle is too big. My pain is too deep. I hear you. I know life can be unfair. I know that sometimes it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, but let me tell you something. Pain is temporary, but quitting is permanent. You may be in the middle of a storm right now, but storms don't last forever. Keep pushing forward. Keep standing back up, because every time you rise after a fall, you become stronger. Every setback is building you. Every disappointment is shaping you. Do you know what happens when a bone breaks? When it heals, it becomes stronger at the point of the break than it was before. That is what resilience does. It takes your pain, your struggles, your failures, and turns them into strength. Some of you are waiting for things to get easier. Let me be real with you. Life doesn't get easier. You get stronger. And the only way to get stronger is to keep going. I want you to imagine a boxer in the ring. He gets punched. He falls to the ground. The referee starts counting. 1, 2, 3. The crowd is shouting, waiting to see if he'll stay down. But suddenly he takes a deep breath, plants his hands on the floor, and rises again. He is bruised. He is hurting, but he is not finished. That's you. Life is going to hit you. It's going to push you to the ground. People are going to doubt you. But when life starts counting you out, you have a choice. You can stay down or you can rise. So today I challenge you, rise, get back up, try again, keep moving, because if you refuse to quit, then nothing, no failure, no struggle, no setback can ever break you. Words are powerful. They shape our thoughts, direct our actions, and define our reality. Every word you speak is like a seed planted in your mind and the minds of those around you. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, you will reap a life filled with anxiety and failure. But if you plant seeds of confidence, faith, and strength, you will build a life that is unshakable. Have you ever noticed how the words you speak affect the way you feel? When you wake up in the morning and say, I feel tired, today is going to be hard, you set the tone for your entire day. But if you wake up and declare, I am strong, I am capable, I can handle anything that comes my way, your energy shifts. You stand taller, you walk with purpose. That is the power of your words. Let me tell you a story. There were 2 wolves that lived inside every person. One was full of fear, doubt, and negativity. The other was full of strength, courage, and faith. A boy once asked his grandfather, which wolf wins? His grandfather replied, the one you feed. Your words are what feed your mind. If you constantly speak weakness, you will feel weak. If you constantly say, I can't, then you won't. But if you declare, I will find a way, then nothing can stop you. Think about a child who is learning to ride a bike. If they keep saying, I can't do this, I'm going to fall, their fear will hold them back. But if they say, I can do this, I will get better, they will keep trying until they succeed. The same is true for you. Your words create your world. Look at the most successful athletes, leaders, and performers. Before they step onto the field, before they step onto the stage, they don't say, I hope I don't mess up. No, they say, I am ready, I am prepared, I was made for this. They speak strength into themselves before they even take action. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest boxers of all time, used to say, I am the greatest, long before he ever won a championship. He didn't wait for the world to tell him who he was. He spoke it into existence. And because he believed it, he became it. But here's the truth. Your words don't just affect you, they affect everyone around you. Imagine a teacher who tells a struggling student, you're not smart enough for this. That child will carry those words for years. They might stop trying. They might start believing that they are a failure. Now imagine that same teacher saying, you are capable. You might struggle now, but if you keep working, you will get there. That child will stand a little taller. They will push a little harder. That one sentence can change their future. The same is true for your friends, your family, your co-workers. The words you speak to them can either lift them up or tear them down. A husband who constantly tells his wife, you're not good enough, is slowly breaking her spirit. But a husband who says, I believe in you, you are amazing, is building her into a stronger, more confident person. A boss who says you'll never succeed is crushing potential. But a boss who says, I see something great in you, is unlocking possibilities. Your words can heal or they can destroy. Choose wisely. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but what if I don't feel strong? What if I don't feel confident? Let me tell you something. You don't have to feel it to say it. Sometimes you have to speak strength before you feel strong. You have to declare victory before you see it. You have to say, I am capable. I am resilient. I will succeed even on the days when doubt is screaming in your ear. Because when you speak life, life begins to take shape. There was a study done where two plants were placed in identical conditions. Same sunlight, same water, same soil. But every day the researchers spoke differently to them. To one plant they said, you are beautiful, you are growing, you are strong. To the other they said, you are weak, you will die. Guess what happened? The plant that was spoken to with love and encouragement thrived. The plant that was spoken to with negativity started to wither. If words can affect plants, how much more do they affect you? Some of you have been speaking words of defeat over your own life for too long. You say, I'll never be good enough. I always mess up. Nothing ever works out for me. And then you wonder why you feel stuck. It's time to change the way you speak. Every morning, look in the mirror and say, I am strong, I am capable, I am worthy of success, I will overcome any obstacle. I am becoming better every day. And when you face challenges, don't say, this is impossible. Say, this is a test of my strength. When you fail, don't say, I'm a failure. Say, I am learning. I will get back up. When you face rejection, don't say, I'm not good enough. Say, this was not meant for me. Something better is coming. You are the author of your story. The words you choose will either write a tragedy or a triumph. So today, make a choice. Speak life, speak strength, speak victory. Because when you do, nothing in this world can break you. Forgiveness is not about the person who hurt you. It is about you. It is about freeing yourself from the chains of anger, resentment, and pain. Because when you hold on to bitterness, you are not punishing them, you are punishing yourself. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone who carries years of anger in their heart? It changes them. It drains their energy. It steals their joy. They may smile on the outside, but inside they are stuck in the past, stuck in pain, stuck in a story they keep replaying over and over again. But forgiveness is different. Forgiveness is powerful. It breaks the chains. It lets you breathe again. It sets you free. Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who was betrayed by his best friend. They had built a business together, worked side by side, shared dreams of success. But one day, that friend stabbed him in the back, lied about him, stole money, and walked away, leaving him with nothing. For years, this man carried the pain. He woke up every morning thinking about how he had been wronged. Every time he saw his former friend's name, anger boiled inside him. He couldn't sleep at night because his mind kept replaying the betrayal. One day he met an old mentor who asked him a simple question. How long will you let this man control your life? The man was shocked. Control my life? He's not controlling me? The mentor smiled and said, yes, he is. Every time you think about him, he steals your peace. Every time you get angry, he takes away your joy. Every time you relive the betrayal, you give him power over you. The only way to break free is to forgive. Forgiveness is not about saying what they did was okay. It's not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about choosing your own freedom over your own bitterness. Because here's the truth. Bitterness is a poison you drink, hoping it will hurt the other person. But it only hurts you. Some of you have been carrying anger for years. Maybe someone lied to you. Maybe someone abandoned you. Maybe someone broke your trust. And you think, I will never forgive them. But let me ask you this. How is that anger helping you? Has it made your life better? Has it brought you peace? Has it healed your heart? Or has it made you exhausted? Has it kept you trapped? Has it stolen your happiness? You see, unforgiveness is like a prison. You think you are locking the other person away, but in reality, you are the one behind the bars. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but they don't deserve my forgiveness. Maybe they don't, but you deserve peace. Forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. Look at the people who have truly mastered life. They are not the ones holding grudges. They are not the ones carrying hate in their hearts. They are the ones who have learned to let go. Think about Nelson Mandela. He was in prison for 27 years. 27 years for fighting against injustice. He had every reason to be bitter. He had every reason to hate those who wronged him. But when he was finally released, he did not seek revenge. He forgave. And because he forgave, he became a leader who changed the world. Now let's bring this closer to home. Maybe it was a family member who hurt you. Maybe it was a friend. Maybe it was someone at work. And every time you think about them, the pain returns. Let me tell you something. You don't have to carry that anymore. You can choose to be free. That doesn't mean you have to trust them again. That doesn't mean you have to let them back into your life. It simply means you are letting go of the burden. It means you refuse to let anger control you. It means you refuse to let bitterness poison you. It means you are choosing peace over pain. I want you to imagine something. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with bricks. Each brick represents a hurt, a betrayal, a disappointment. And every single day you carry this weight on your back. It slows you down. It makes you tired. It steals your joy. Now imagine if one by one you started to take the bricks out. First, the betrayal from years ago. You set it down. Then the harsh words someone spoke over you. You let it go. Then the disappointment that still lingers in your heart, you release it. Suddenly you feel lighter. You can stand taller. You can move forward. That is what forgiveness does. It lifts the weight. It frees your soul. It allows you to live again. So today I challenge you, let go. Let go of the pain. Let go of the resentment. Let go of the anger that has been holding you hostage. Not for them, for you. Because when you forgive, you don't just heal your past, you unlock your future. Success is never given, it is earned. And the only way to earn it is through relentless, unstoppable work ethic. Talent can only take you so far. Luck may open a door, but it won't keep it open. The people who rise to the top, the ones who achieve greatness, are not necessarily the smartest, the most gifted, or the luckiest. They are the ones who refuse to be outworked. If you want something, you have to be willing to work for it harder than anyone else. You have to be the one who stays late, who shows up early, who puts in the extra effort when everyone else is resting. Because at the end of the day, success is not about who had the best idea, it's about who put in the work to make it happen. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young man who wanted to be great. He went to his mentor and asked, "How do I become successful?" His mentor smiled and took him to the ocean. He told the young man to step into the water. Confused but obedient, the young man followed. When the water reached their waist, the mentor suddenly pushed the young man's head under the water and held him there. The young man struggled, kicking, trying to rise. Just when he thought he couldn't take it anymore, the mentor pulled him up. Gasping for air, the young man shouted, "What was that for?" The mentor looked him in the eye and said, "When you want success as badly as you just wanted to breathe, then you will achieve it." That is what unstoppable work ethic looks like. It is the hunger, the drive, the willingness to give everything you've got. Look at the greatest athletes. The best musicians, the most successful entrepreneurs, do you think they got there by doing the bare minimum? No! They worked when others rested. They practiced when others partied. They trained when others slept. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Instead of quitting, he worked harder than anyone else. He stayed in the gym long after practice was over. He took thousands of extra shots every day. And because of that work ethic, he became the greatest player the game has ever seen. Kobe Bryant had a rule. No one outworked him. He would wake up at 4 a.m. to train before practice, then stay for hours after everyone else had left. He was already one of the best, but he never let up. He understood that talent means nothing if you don't back it up with work. Look at Elon Musk. He didn't build Tesla and SpaceX by working a 9-to-5 schedule. He worked 100-hour weeks when everyone else was working 40.40. This story is not the only one. He slept in the office. He poured his entire being into his mission. And now the world knows his name. Here's the truth. There will always be someone more talented than you, but no one should ever outwork you, because effort is something you control. You may not be the fastest, but you can train harder. You may not be the smartest, but you can study longer. You may not have the best connections, but you can hustle harder than anyone else. Success is not an accident. It is built brick by brick, hour by hour, sweat by sweat. Some people dream about success. Others wake up and work for it. The question is, which one are you? Think about your goals. Maybe you want to build a business. Maybe you want to become a top athlete. Maybe you want to write a book, get promoted, or achieve something great. Now ask yourself, are you outworking everyone else? Are you showing up before everyone else and leaving after they do? Are you putting in the extra hours when others are making excuses? Are you pushing yourself beyond your limits when others are comfortable? If not, then you don't want it badly enough. Some people say they want to be successful, but their actions don't match their words. They talk about their dreams, but they spend more time watching TV than working on them. They say they want to be great, but they're not willing to make the sacrifices required. But those who truly want it, they work in silence. They grind in the dark. They show up every single day, whether they feel like it or not, and eventually they rise, because success is a game of endurance. It's not about who starts the fastest. It's about who keeps going when everyone else stops. Think about an Olympic sprinter. Every 4 years, they get one chance, just a few seconds, to prove themselves. But what most people don't see is the years of work behind those few seconds. The early mornings, the late nights, the pain, the sacrifice. They train every day, even when no one is watching, because they know that when the moment comes, when the race begins, it's too late to prepare. The same goes for you. Your moment will come. The opportunity you've been waiting for will appear. The question is, will you be ready, or will you have wasted your time? There are no shortcuts. There is no easy way. The only way to win is to work. So today, make a decision. Outwork everyone. Be the first one in and the last one out. Give more effort than anyone else, because when you have an unstoppable work ethic, no one can take what's yours. Your mind is the most powerful tool you will ever have. It is the foundation of every success, every breakthrough, and every achievement you will ever reach. But here's the truth. Your mind only stays powerful if you keep feeding it. The moment you stop learning, you start dying. Think about it. Look at the world around you. Everything is constantly evolving, growing, changing. Nature teaches us this lesson in the simplest way. If a tree stops growing, it begins to decay. If water stops moving, it becomes stagnant. And if your mind stops learning, stops stretching, stops improving, it begins to shrink. That's why the most successful people in the world are always learning. They never believe they know it all. They never get comfortable. They never stop searching for ways to grow. Take Warren Buffett, for example. One of the richest men in the world, yet he spends 80% of his day reading. Why? Because he understands that knowledge is power. He knows that every new piece of information he gains gives him an edge. Look at Elon Musk. He didn't know how to build rockets when he started SpaceX, but he learned. He read textbooks, talked to experts, asked the right questions. Now he is leading the space industry. That's the difference between people who win and people who stay stuck. Winners have a mind that never stops growing. They are obsessed with learning. They never settle. They are constantly looking for ways to improve. Now let's talk about you. Where do you want to go in life? What are your dreams? What is the vision you have for yourself? Whatever it is, you will never get there with the same mind you have today. You have to grow. You have to learn. You have to evolve. The problem is most people stop learning after school. They think once they get a diploma, they're done. They stop reading books. They stop challenging themselves. They stop pushing their minds to new limits. And that's why so many people feel stuck. They are trying to build a better life with the same level of thinking they've always had. Albert Einstein once said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." That means if you want a different life, you need a different mind. And the only way to change your mind is to keep learning, keep improving, keep growing. Here's a simple truth. The best investment you will ever make is in yourself. The money you spend on books, on courses, on learning new skills, that is the investment that will pay off for a lifetime, because no one can take your knowledge away from you. A company can fire you, a business can fail, money can be lost, but the skills and knowledge you gain, that stays with you forever. Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who worked as a janitor. Every day he mopped floors and cleaned offices. Most people looked down on him. They thought he would always be at the bottom. But what they didn't know was that every night after work, he stayed behind in the office library and read books about business, leadership, and success. He had a hunger to learn. Over the years, he started applying what he learned. He began to understand how businesses worked. He started asking better questions, making smarter decisions. Fast forward a few years, and that janitor became the CEO of the same company he once cleaned. What changed? His mindset, his willingness to keep learning, his refusal to stay the same. And that is the power of a mind that never stops growing. Now, here's my question to you. Are you feeding your mind daily, or are you letting it grow weak? Are you challenging yourself, or are you just going through life on autopilot? If you want to be great, you have to think differently. You have to commit to lifelong learning. Read books. Study successful people. Learn new skills. Ask more questions. Push yourself beyond what you know today, because the world is changing fast. Technology is evolving. Industries are shifting. Opportunities are opening and closing every single day. If you are not constantly learning, you will be left behind. But if you commit to growth, if you dedicate yourself to becoming better every day, there will be no limit to what you can achieve. So make a decision today. Never stop learning, never stop improving, never stop growing, because the moment you do, you step into a future where anything is possible. You are only as strong as the people you surround yourself with. The people you walk with will either push you forward or pull you backward. They will either encourage your greatness or drain your potential. Loyalty is a beautiful thing, but it's only powerful when it's given to the right people. Too many people stay loyal to relationships that keep them small, friendships that hold them back, and connections that do nothing to inspire growth. But if you want to go far in life, you need to be loyal to those who push you higher. Think about it. Eagles don't fly with pigeons. Lions don't run with sheep. Why? Because the company you keep determines the level you reach. Look around you. Who do you spend your time with? Do they push you to be better? Do they challenge you? Do they make you think bigger, work harder, and believe in yourself more? Or do they waste your time? Do they discourage your dreams? Do they laugh at your ambitions and tell you to be realistic? Because here's the truth. Your environment shapes your future. There's an old saying, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. If you surround yourself with people who are hungry, who are ambitious, who are constantly improving, you will rise to their level. But if you stay around people who are lazy, negative, and unmotivated, their energy will pull you down no matter how strong you think you are. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young man who had big dreams. He wanted to start a business, create wealth, and build a life of success. But he had a problem. His closest friends had no ambition. They spent their time gossiping, complaining, and wasting their days on meaningless distraction. Whenever he talked about his dreams, they would laugh. Why work so hard, they would say. Just relax, man. You're trying too much. At first, he didn't listen to them. But over time, their words started affecting him. He started doubting himself. He started believing that maybe he was dreaming too big. His motivation faded, and soon he was just like them, stuck, stagnant, and going nowhere. One day he met a successful businessman who asked him a simple question: who do you spend the most time with? The young man listed his friends. The businessman shook his head and said, that's your problem. You are flying with people who don't want to leave the ground. That hit him hard. He realized he had been loyal to the wrong people. He had been giving his time and energy to those who didn't support his growth. So he made a decision. He changed his circle. He started spending time with people who were driven, who had goals, who pushed him to be better, and everything in his life changed. Because when you surround yourself with winners, you start thinking like a winner. You need people in your life who hold you accountable, who won't let you settle for less, who will remind you of your potential when you start to doubt yourself. Look at every successful person in the world. None of them got there alone. They had the right people in their corner, people who encouraged them, challenged them, and helped them stay focused on their vision. Think about Michael Jordan. He was great, but he didn't become the greatest alone. He had a coach like Phil Jackson who pushed him to his limits. He had teammates who held him accountable. He had people around him who refused to let him be anything less than excellent. Even the most powerful figures in history had wise counsel. Kings had advisors. CEOs have mentors. The strongest leaders surround themselves with the right people. Now, here's the hard part. Sometimes you have to let go of the wrong people to make room for the right ones. That doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you think you're better than them. It simply means you value your future more than you value comfort. Some people were meant to be in your past, not your future. Some friendships were meant for a season, not a lifetime. If you have people in your life who constantly drain you, who fill your mind with negativity, who discourage your dreams, why are you still giving them your loyalty? Loyalty is a gift. It should never be wasted on those who don't value it. Be loyal to those who believe in you. Be loyal to those who celebrate your success, not those who secretly hope you fail. Be loyal to those who tell you the truth even when it's hard, because they want to see you grow. Be loyal to those who make you better, not those who keep you comfortable. Because who you walk with will determine how far you go. So take a look at your circle. Are they lifting you up or holding you down? Are they pushing you forward or keeping you stuck? Are they speaking life into you or feeding you doubt? The choice is yours. Walk with those who push you to greatness and watch how far you go. Gratitude is not just about saying thank you. It is a way of life. a mindset that transforms everything. When you live with gratitude, you see the world differently. You don't focus on what's missing, you focus on what's already there. You don't complain about what you lack, you celebrate what you have. And when you do this, something incredible happens. You become powerful. Most people think power comes from money, status, or control. But true power, the kind that no one can take away, comes from gratitude. Because when you are grateful, you are never empty, you are never weak, you are never at the mercy of your circumstances. Gratitude makes you unstoppable. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who has everything, money, success, the perfect life, but they are still miserable? They wake up every day feeling empty, always chasing the next thing, never satisfied. That's because they are missing gratitude. No matter how much they gain, it will never be enough if they can't appreciate what they already have. Now, on the other hand, have you ever met someone who has very little, yet they are full of joy? Maybe they don't have the biggest house, the highest salary, or the most luxurious lifestyle, but their heart is full. They smile, they laugh, they find beauty in the small things. Why? Because they have mastered the power of gratitude. Gratitude is the difference between feeling rich and feeling poor. And the best part? It has nothing to do with how much you have. It has everything to do with how you see what you have. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who lost everything. His business failed, his savings disappeared, and his house was taken away. One night, sitting on a park bench, he was consumed by despair. He felt like a failure. He had nothing left. Then an old man sat beside him and asked, "What are you thinking about?" The man poured out his heart. "I've lost everything. I have nothing to live for." The old man listened, then smiled and said, "Can you see?" The man was confused. "What?" "Your eyes," the old man said. "Can you see with them?" "Yes," the man answered. "Would you sell them to me for $1 million?" The man shook his head. "Of course not," the old man continued. "What about your legs? Would you sell them for $2 million?" "No," the man replied. "What about your hands, your mind, your ability to breathe?" The man started to understand. "You say you have lost everything," the old man said, "but you are sitting on a fortune. You have more wealth than you realize." At that moment, the man's perspective changed. He still had struggles, but now he saw everything he still had: his health, his mind, his ability to rebuild. He walked away from that conversation with something more valuable than money: a spirit of gratitude. That's the power of gratitude. It opens your eyes to the abundance you already have. Because the truth is, your life is full of gifts: the air in your lungs, the heart beating in your chest, the ability to wake up every morning and start again, the people who love you, the lessons you've learned, the moments of joy, no matter how small. If you focus on what's missing, life will always feel empty. But if you focus on what you have, you will realize you are already rich. Gratitude also makes you strong. Life will not always be easy. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and challenges. But if you have gratitude, you will always find a reason to keep going. Look at some of the greatest people in history. Many of them went through extreme hardships. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, but he never lost his hope or his gratitude for life. Helen Keller was blind and deaf, yet she lived with a heart full of thankfulness. They didn't let their circumstances define them. They let gratitude empower them. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring problems. It doesn't mean pretending life is perfect. It means choosing to focus on what is still good, even in the darkest times. And when you do this, your life changes. Your attitude shifts, your energy rises, your heart opens, doors begin to open for you, not because your situation magically changes overnight, but because you change. You attract better relationships. People want to be around someone who appreciates life, not someone who always complains. You handle stress better. When challenges come, you face them with strength instead of fear. You become more successful. Gratitude makes you a better leader, a better worker, a better thinker. It keeps you motivated and focused. So how do you develop a spirit of gratitude? Start small. Every day, take a moment to think about what you are grateful for. Write it down. Say it out loud. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, focus on what's right. Appreciate the little things. The sunrise, a kind word, a good meal. Express gratitude to others. Tell the people in your life that you appreciate them. A simple thank you can change someone's day. And most importantly, make gratitude a habit, because when you live with gratitude, you are never powerless. You are rich in what truly matters. And that kind of power, it can never be taken away. The difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck is simple: action. Everybody has dreams. Everybody has ideas. Everybody has things they want to do, things they wish for, things they talk about. But only a few people actually start. Only a few take that first step. And those few, they are the ones who win, because success doesn't come from wishing. It doesn't come from overthinking. It doesn't come from waiting for the right time. Success comes to those who take action now. Look around. How many people do you know who talk about what they're going to do? I want to start my own business. I'm thinking about writing a book. I'm planning to get in shape. They talk, but months go by, years go by, and nothing changes. Why? Because they never take the first step. They are waiting for the right moment, waiting to feel ready, waiting for the perfect conditions. But waiting is a trap. The perfect time will never come. There will always be something that makes you hesitate, something that makes you second-guess yourself. If you don't start now, chances are you never will. Let me tell you a story. There were two friends, James and Daniel. Both of them had a dream of starting a business. James spent years researching, planning, thinking of every possible challenge he might face. He kept telling himself, I'll start when I have more time. I'll start when I save more money. I'll start when I feel more confident. Daniel, on the other hand, had the same fears. He wasn't completely ready, but he started anyway. He took a small step. He created a simple website, started selling a few products, made mistakes, and learned as he went. Fast forward 5 years. James was still talking about starting his business, but Daniel, he had built a successful company. Was his journey perfect? No. Did he face challenges? Absolutely. But he learned, adapted, and grew because he took action. That's the difference. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You just need to start. You don't need to know everything before you begin. You will learn along the way. Most people let fear stop them. They think, what if I fail? What if I make mistakes? What if people judge me? But here's the truth. Failure is part of success. Every successful person you admire once started as a beginner. They didn't have all the answers. They weren't perfect. They made mistakes, but they kept moving forward. Look at Steve Jobs. He started Apple in his garage. He had no fancy office, no massive resources, just an idea and a willingness to take action. If he'd waited for the perfect conditions, Apple wouldn't exist today. Look at J.K. Rowling. She was rejected 12 times before a publisher finally accepted Harry Potter. What if she had stopped after the first rejection? The world would have never known one of the greatest stories ever written. The lesson? Success comes to those who keep moving. Taking action creates momentum. The first step is always the hardest. But once you start, you build confidence, you gain experience, you begin to see progress. Think about riding a bicycle. The hardest part is getting started. You push off, and for a moment you feel unsteady. But once you start pedaling, it gets easier. You gain balance, you pick up speed, and soon you're moving effortlessly. Life works the same way. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. But the moment you take that first step, everything changes. So, let me ask you, what is something you've been putting off? Is it starting that business, writing that book, getting in shape, learning a new skill, taking control of your life? Whatever it is, start now. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Take one small step. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just start. Because the habit of taking action is what separates the doers from the dreamers. And in the end, only the doers succeed.